What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to the third episode of Koikimo. This one's titled "You're Just Messing With Me." Well, I suppose that's going to be Ichika thinking about Ryo, isn't it? Let's be honest. Because she thinks he's just messing with her, but he's actually being rather genuine with all this, which is, I think, why his character works. Because I've said it before, especially on my Discord, just how endearing I actually kind of find them, which is not what I expected going into this show, just because of the premise of high schooler, age gap relationship, potential. It's like, that, for the Western world, is definitely bizarre. I don't know if that would necessarily be seen the exact same way in Japan, because of different ages for different things, especially depending on parts of Japan as well, I believe. I think it's not all unified across Japan as the exact same thing. I think there are certain distinctions in different areas. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I don't think it's just all of Japan has the exact same take on that sort of thing. But, yeah, they just kind of work. And Ryo especially, with the little hints of backstory we're getting, thanks to his conversations with Masuda, right? His friend, because we started adding some extra supporting cast around these two, which is very nice. Nice early introduction for them. And just through that little honest conversation between him and Master, which is not something that happens too often in anime, like an actual kind of, still jokingly and still kind of messing around it, but still, an actual heart-to-heart between two guys about a girl. That doesn't really happen too much. We see that very much in the reverse. We see girls trying to talk with other girls about their relationship things. I think that's perceived as more common occurrence, maybe? Maybe it's just because more of the focus is usually on the female character in these types of shows when it comes to romance, but we saw it with Horimiya, especially when Sakura went to Remy, asking about advice and such. You don't normally see that too much on the male side, except in a few certain shows. So for this show to do it was kind of surprising. And like I said, he is being as genuine as he can be for the character type he is. Like, this is him being genuinely, like, he's genuinely interested in her. He wants to explore this feeling that he's got, because it is coming from a pure sense. Like, compare it to certain other main characters we've seen in not just romance harem type shows, but also just typical fantasy shows. It happens in fantasy a lot. When you have guys that are very pervy. He is far from pervy. He's just pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable. And to an extent, you could argue that is what flirting and what trying to get with someone is like. You're finding the boundaries of what's acceptable, what's not, and seeing where you are with each other. Because they're very inexperienced with knowing each other at this point. Like, just think about that. They haven't spent that much time together. So they're still pushing boundaries, working out how far is too far, what's fine, what's uncomfortable, like, that sort of thing. And he definitely pushes those boundaries and extends them a little bit. But that's what happens. We all extend boundaries and push past them in certain instances when it comes to not just romance, but friendships and such like that. I mean, some of your best friends you've probably had some of your biggest arguments with, ever. It happens because you push a boundary, you argue about it, you come to an understanding, and you move on, you become closer friends through it. Right? So, for some reason, this show just hits really, really well. I could never have guessed that going into this season. This would be one of my favorite shows going in. Never would have guessed it. But here we are. So, last time, there was one other thing from last time I did want to mention. There was someone watching Ichika and Ryo as they were having their moments here and there. Someone's watching them. I don't know who. I don't think it's one of the friends we already introduced. I think more than likely, if I was to guess where this show would go, I would guess it's probably a guy that kind of likes Ichika. Probably, because the chances are there are guys in the school that actually like her. I think that's fair to say. And to have a rival romance character is very common for rom-coms and just romance shows in general. So if someone's going to be listening in on these instances of them together, I would think it's another guy that kind of likes Ichika. That's where I'm thinking that would be going, but maybe they'll throw a curveball. Maybe it's someone that views Ichika as like a Maybe it's just someone that they view Ichika as a senpai or something like that. Is Ichika first year or second year? She's third year high school, right? Or she's second year? I genuinely cannot remember what year of high school she's in. Does it say anywhere? She's 17. So does that must make her a third year or a second year? I genuinely cannot remember how a Japanese school system works if 17 will make her second or third. I think she's third year. I don't think it's not mentioned on any of the synopses or stuff I've got here, so I'm going to assume third year. So, or at least second year if she's 17. So she definitely would have a Kohai character that could maybe look up to her that wants to protect her. So that's my guess, is either like a Kohai that's wanting to protect her or a boy that's getting jealous of their time together. Those are my two guesses, so I guess we'll see. But yeah, let's get into the episode. As per usual, these are time-based format reactions here on YouTube. If you want to see the full picture-in-picture, go to my Patreon down in the description below. £4 a month gets you access to all picture-in-picture reactions I do on the channel, with everything from the seasonal lineup that we have here. We also have Patreon quest shows such as World Trigger. We have Symphogear G and Log Horizon. Log Horizon will be immediately moving on to Season 2 as well once we complete that, so don't worry about that. And Symphogear G will hopefully be going on into whatever the next season is, AX or X or something like that. Or GX or something. It's a combination of letters. We also have movie reactions available. We'll be doing Weathering Review the movie at some point this month, so look forward to that one. That will probably be later in the month as we sort the schedule out a little bit more. But here on YouTube, we have to do time-based. So bottom left of the screen, you'll see a time for the episode. I count down 3, 2, 1, play. Then play, start the episode, I start the episode, and we should be in sync. We're watching this one on Crunchyroll, since they're the ones who licensed it, and are getting it a week early of the Japanese release. Sorry to my Japanese viewers who are having to wait for the TV broadcast before they can actually see this. But yeah, with all that said, oh, you can screen flash on my face on the mic to tell us he's transitioning, and look at this part of my headset as well. That should help sync up as well. So, with all that said, let's get into episode 3, shall we? In 3, 2, 1, play. Is this the gymnasium? Is my audio correct? I forgot the show has really weird audio. Okay. It was him watching, okay. So it's gonna be a guy. Whew. I like the sister a lot as well. OP time. Absolute boff and OP as well. I need to look up the artist of this later, I think. See what other OPs and stuff they may have done before. God, I love it so much every time. Alright. You're just messing with me. What are the chances he's reading that because of her? Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Oh boy. The sister knowing is not a good thing. uh, oh boy. He's gonna come. He'll be there in like 2 seconds. Yep. Oh boy. That's mean. Take the least embarrassing option, I suppose. Hmm. Yeah. That look on her face is exactly correct. Yeah. Please tell me he just like collapses as he starts walking. uh. Hmm. Oh boy. Okay. Ah. Okay. Makes sense. Exactly what we heard. He feels jealous, doesn't he? Asserting dominance. uh, that absolutely made him jealous. Absolutely. I suppose that'll be the first time he's ever felt jealous enough like that, right? Oh. His voice acting. Drink it. uh, that's a okay. Jesus. It actually quite is. Hmm. That's what the sister's there for. And the sister noticed it as well, so they're on the same wavelength already. Wow, just straight up asking it. Camera. How many cameras are we going to go through? Just the three, okay. Yep, it was him. Yep. And that is the truth. And that is the truth. Okay. Not letting that misunderstanding last for long, which is good. Mm-hmm. Huh? That's a bit. I mean, you've had one proper interaction with him. I think it's a bit unfair for him to say that just as a snap judgment, but well, that's gonna mess with her mind now. That too. Hmm. I think that was his own jealousy kicking in a little bit for the way he had to say that. It is. I mean, it's fair to think of, but would he really go through such lengths for someone that difficult? I don't know many guys who would, if they're just messing with you, would go through that much effort, you know? No. Shut up. I mean, yes. Mm-hmm. Ah. Mm-hmm. Probably. You're the worst. That's honestly true, though. Possibly, yeah. Of course he does. But yeah, she's just thinking that. Is she gonna say anything? Hmm. 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 Gonna start putting a lot of distance between them now. But that actually, yeah, that actually got to him. Why are these? That was the second cough she had. Hmm. Cool. Yes. Hmm. That's another cough. She's getting ill. Hmm. Why are you trying to staple that many things together? What? Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Christ. He's already gone. Uh. Mm-hmm. Possibly. Oh no. That should be warning enough that your mum would be like that. Uh. Be your brain though. Karma. Oh boy, the mum. Oh boy. I think the mum likes him. 5 minutes. uh. Obviously. Very well thought out. It is a bit much, but fucking Switch. Yeah, don't say that. That's not how that works. Calm yourself, boy. That's a good sign, yes. uh, mm-hmm. Is it a study? Study guide, wow. Cover Masada. Half an hour, okay. Put a lot of damn effort into this. Yeah. Okay. That's a lie, but hmm. No. 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 You're making a shaggy dumbass. Uh, it's already out. It's already out. Mm-hmm. Actually meant a lot more to him than he let on. Hey, 92. Obviously, so can. Yeah. Why is this show endearing? One of the mysteries of modern anime. Good ED as well, as always. Again, it's just so endearing between them. So it was a guy that saw them together. Although it wasn't immediately obvious that he was necessarily interested in Ichika so far. He's just disapproving of Ryo. Which is sort of understandable. On this holy night. Okay. On this holy night, really? Okay. Another good episode. Another very good episode, in fact. Yeah, he's just somehow endearing in all of this, which is just unbelievable. And like seeing how that actually like that little moment with them when she said to him how you're just playing me along, right? Like seeing how that actually affects him and seeing them understanding how it affects each other, like that was really rather interesting to see, and kind of proved that it's not just him messing around here. He genuinely does kind of feel this way about her, and while she definitely doesn't feel that way about him yet, I get the feeling that by the end of the source material, because this is the entire manga is complete, right? Yeah, the manga completed like less than 2 weeks ago. I don't know if this is a full manga adaptation or if this is going to be taking it. Yeah, I don't know if this is a full adaptation of the manga or if they're doing like a certain part and then you go read the manga, or if they're hoping for season 2 maybe. It is an original net animation, not a not an actual full TV series. So maybe they're more likely to get a sequel out of it than, say, other series, but essentially since the advances on Prime Video as well. But I don't know. Either way, somehow, Ryo and Ichika together is somewhat endearing. I understand why people are saying the things they are about this series. I totally understand that, actually. But something about his character in particular, and the way he's portraying himself is probably... I don't think you'll find a better main character than him in this sort of scenario. I can honestly, I know a lot of people do this because I had a friend, I've been speaking about this series with a friend as well. I can understand why people say, why did this need to be part of the story? Why did he have to be a salaryman 10 years older than him? Why couldn't he have been a high schooler? And there's a fair point. You could have had this be a regular... You could have had this same premise, except he's not older than her. It would just change the scope of your comedy slightly. But I think what's kind of important for his character is the fact that he is a salaryman. He's living his life. He's got himself well settled. He's not worrying about the future necessarily so much anymore. He's older. He's wiser than your typical high schooler. So for that reason, he acts in a way that is just not immature. It's not in a way that is often portrayed amongst a lot of male MCs when it comes to high school-based shows. He's more put together as a human. Because when you're in high school, the outside world environment, you really don't get it until you've lived out there for a while. And you've got your job, and you find yourself stable. Like, he's been very successful, obviously, Ryo. And I think, again, highly successful businessman starts hitting on a high schooler. Obviously, it sounds bad. It definitely sounds bad. I understand it. But just the way he conducts himself is just as respectful as I think you can be. Well, no. It is a bit overinflated for the sake of comedy. And it's as long as you can remember that it's for the sake of comedy, that it works. But even without the comedy elements and being overinflated in that sense, he's still a nice guy at the end of the day. He is protective and possessive, a little bit, although he didn't really say anything more. He did go a little bit overboard with his comment to the guy, but yeah, it is what it is. And you can see that Ichika's mood towards him is shifting. She's answering the phone when he rings properly now. She's more grateful to him and the help he's given. And she can't deny that he's genuinely trying to help her and trying to wish the best for her. So, I don't know how this manga ends. I don't know if this has an inconclusive end or what type of end this series has. I don't want to know either because eventually we'll get there. This show might even be a full adaptation for all I know. I don't know. But I honestly could see them getting together eventually. I think it will be on the stipulations like, we can't whilst we're in high school. Like, I think Ichika will very firmly put that down as like, I will not date you whilst I'm in high school. But I think she'll be willing to say, once she's graduated, maybe they can try. I think that's probably where Ichika might get to by the end. It's entirely possible that we could even have them both go and pair up on their own and just stay friends. But I don't think this is that type of show. I think Higehiro, which we're about to go watch straight after this, I think Higehiro is more likely to have that as the plot point. This is a show where I can actually envision these two getting together eventually. Higehiro, I cannot see those two getting together necessarily right now. I can imagine them getting with someone else of their own group now that they've learnt to live with each other and enrich their lives together, that they can then pair off on their own and go their separate ways. Like, that's where I think Higehiro will end up going. This one, I could honestly see Ichika saying, you know what, once I graduate, let's try. I could honestly see that. But I guess we'll see what ends up happening. Especially with the the pressure from the sister, Ryo. I don't think Ichika can ever get out of this. Like, as long as Ryo is supportive of the brother, you don't really have any safe space. Which is kind of concerning in its own way, but, you know, it is what it is. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one as per usual. Leave a like if you did, as well as your comments what you thought of the episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe as well to see next week's episode, as well as the rest of the Spring 2021 lineup you can find here on the channel. Thank you for watching. Till next time. See you guys later.